Shoveler Hewitt and his dumb dog.
Thinks he's a man, but he's never killed a thing. I'd watch him, Jonas.
Snake.
Cocky little son of a...
Snake.
Don't let him see that it hurts.
I can hear everything you're thinking.
What'd you say?
The mayor, the mayor, the mayor.
Hide your noise. Hide your noise.
Todd Hewitt. Todd Hewitt.
That problem, boys?
I'm Todd Hewitt. I'm Todd Hewitt. I'm Todd Hewitt.
No problem.
Very clever use of your noise, son.
Mayor likes me. He thinks I'm a man.
I reckon you'll be riding with the Spaggle Patrol before long. Very clever.
It is the first day of shooting. There's an eclipse. Miraculously, we wrote a great scene for today, last night, when we're all exhausted. And they're actually totally delivering, and they're really exhausted. And tonight we're going to get a good night's sleep. So Tuesday is going to be awesome.
Are you good with the food like that? Another one? Yeah.
We're going to do a test run with the stunties.
Okay.
Get the camera working.
Now,
That
you
last one's
probably
great.
have to make a decision.
How'd that feel?
Parallel, yes.
Like death.
Yeah, it's tough.
It feels alright, and then you finish. You're like, oh.
I'm lucky because I have you to like motivate me to catch up to you. Like, you know how they always say it's the hardest to lead a race?
Yeah.
So I was lucky because I have motivation to chase. I just feel like I'm chasing.
No, she is in front.
Can we do that again?
We'll do a close-up and then we'll get into that one.
Spin, down snake!
Ready, and action!
Boat, and we all thought we're going to have a briefing on like how to do it on the dry land, and then we'll do it in the water in the river later. But we didn't know there was a big old dam behind us, and they just released it, and then we would go down.
Action!
Tired, thirsty. Maybe I should have turned back. Maybe it was a mistake. Tired, I gotta stop. Maybe I should have turned her in. Maybe I should have taken her back. I don't know. Crack!
Get in the boat, Viola! Get in the boat!
Todd, I can't swim. I can't swim.
Okay. I don't know how much backing off
when we're coming into this, a horse can do.
No, this. I'm shooting it right here, just as where the crane is. It's as though it happened there.
Okay. So a swipe that, because remember the horse's head.
Yeah.
So what kind of? I mean, one that I was.
Good. Young Todd headed off somewhere?
Holy shit, that was awesome.
Ready?
The law don't apply to boys. You're from Prentisstown, aren't you, Matthew?
I'm never from Prentisstown, Hildy. I'm from New Elizabeth.
New Elizabeth?
You best not stay in our town, Prentice boy, or you'll be sorry.
There'll be no threats from you, Matthew. Or anyone else. That's an order. Now get back to work.
Here we go.
That's what I would say.
So Tom, don't get thrown off. I'm gonna be in the shot, like right to the last till you grab it,
Yeah.
keeping the knife jiggling.
I mean, does it help you if I do it? Does it make it easier if I jiggle it, step out and step in?
Sure.
Because it's less, I mean,
Okay, sure.
it justifies it a bit more that it's me rather than you with your green gilet on.
Okay.
Here we go.
I'm glad to count you as an ally during this war, preacher. But should your callings cost me a single man, I'll see you hanged.
You hide your noise like a woman.
I consider that a compliment.
It's not. Weakness rots from within.
Thank you for the sermon.
Looky here. Shoveler Hewitt and his dog out here again begging for scraps. Better watch your noise. You cocky little son of a bitch. Oh, hey.
Mark it. Because cystic 4, demarcated.
Now you're dead.
She's caged in, and suddenly now you come through the wall. Let's talk. Clop, clop, clop. He's up the hill. So now you've appeared before the wall. Now the scene plays out between the two of you.
Right.
Tom, you've chased from behind her.
Yeah.
So these horses will get here before you. So we're sitting.
It's all right. You're safe now. I'm David Prentice. I'm the mayor here. Are you injured? You've never seen a real horse before, have you? It's okay. He's very gentle. We'll go slowly. I'm going to ride into town now. All right? Good. Don't you bite me again, you.
So
What? It's interesting because the film has ended up spanning different parts of all three books in the trilogy, not necessarily in any one order, not necessarily as like every bit from every book. But this script has ended up encompassing actually more of the world than I think one would assume. And I think because so much in the book is descriptive of the noise, because we're able to do that in an audio-visual way, I think it's helpful having that, because you're able to tell the story probably in a more condensed way, because the noise does so much of the work that the book has to do in a narrative way. Without the noise, there is no issue. Without the noise, there are people living as people do. And within this story, it's the noise that forms any sort of contention. It's the disparity with men and women having noise and not. That is the sort of history of New World, and it's a massive issue for Todd and Viola to overcome. So really, with the noise had to be intense, like it's an intense part of the experience of Chaos Walking. Viola and Todd meet sort of by chance, and what is amazing in the story is Todd can't really explain why he's drawn to Viola, but he basically, well, I mean, he's told to as well by Ben Killian, but he leaves everything he knows in order to help her, which is amazing. And that I think is why we did the additional photography too, because it's a challenging relationship to make work, because there has to be like a pull, but also you have to understand why they stayed together. And obviously he's super helpful to Viola, so it's clearer that way. He brings a lot to it. He has to be a young man on the cusp of proper adulthood. He has to make the audience understand why he's with Viola. And a lot of that, honestly, and it's in the trailer, a lot of that is his relationship with Manchi. Like, he loves his dog so much, and it's wonderful. I remember someone saying it on set when we were filming. It's wonderful seeing characters liking something. It makes you like them. So it's like a really wonderful way into Todd to see how he is with his dog. I think Chaos Walking serves a broader audience in that it's the thing that you always hope from sort of bigger action films, is that there's like a real heart to the story. And the heart is sort of Viola and Todd's relationship and them going on this journey, and what that does to everyone else and what it means for literally a whole planet of people.
The story is centered around Todd Hewitt, a young guy who basically has this gift to be able to minimize his noise. And the noise is the thing that's taken over all the men in Prentice Town, which is where we get introduced to this story. And it's overtaken their lives. And there's this darkness around the history of Prentice Town, and specifically around the mayor and you know, the community and the environment he's created in Prentice Town. The story is shaken up when Viola appears, and the first woman that Todd has seen. And then the fear sets in of what her intention is, why her ship was coming. And Mayor Prentice, the leader of the town, decides to go on a bit of a witch hunt to find her. And Todd, and convince him that his cause is with us and not with her. And madness ensues, chaos ensues. The noise is our main character in this movie. It's a funny way of thinking about things, but it really is. You know, in most scene preparation I do, and I think all the actors on this set, you know, you think about your subtext and what you say with your face but don't actually say out loud, and what your internal dialogue is. And with this, it's all out there in our noise. And so you have to be really specific about your intention and what you're saying with your physicality. And it's been a wild card. I mean, at first I had to wrap my head around the concept as a whole, and then actually acting with that as a piece to the puzzle was really quite insane. Tom Holland is a great guy. We first met on press tour. He was doing press for Spider-Man. I was doing press for Jumanji, and we hit it off right away. Had a great time, and a couple months later, this came up, and it was just really exciting because when you meet somebody and you like them outside of a work environment, it makes that much easier and more fun in the work environment. And we got on set, and he really is the leader of this group, and sets the tone for everyone on set. And he's obviously an amazing actor and doing a great job in this film, but also a great guy, and although our relationship on camera is very tense, and we have a laugh about that off camera sometimes because I'm so mean to him, but it's part of the job. So beyond the way it looks and feels, which I think will be visually very stunning, and the noise being an element no one's ever seen in film before, I think you're talking about a very human story at the core, about these two people that need each other in a lot of ways and don't know how much they can trust each other, but seeing it all unfold is going to be something I think the audience falls in love with and gets frustrated with and laughs at times, and also want to see the final outcome.
I would say that Far Branch is sort of rural. It's farming. It's a farming town, and they grow their own vegetables. They grow their own fruit, and they have their own food. They have their own way of living. I think it sort of takes things right back to like the beginning of time, how you would have to exist and live. And I think most things are handmade there. But that's how she sort of set people to work. It takes away what we would know as technology. They just don't have technology there. It's all, well, they have a little, but the very smallest amount, and the rest is all up to them. Mads is like, I feel like the dad of the piece, like dad of the company, as opposed to the piece, because My Apprentice is like they're like two opposites. It's really strange to see him play this character who is not what Mads is at all. Mads is so lovely and funny and respectful, and we'll be in the scene and we'll lock eyes and we'll make sure that we know what we're doing and we'll figure it out together and then hit the road running. And he's just been great to be part of it, great to work with, and then to put, when he throws the energy into My Apprentice, he just transforms. He's great, and then it really is Hildy and My Apprentice standing off against each other, which I think is so cool because we really like each other in real life. So it's kind of great to be able to transform that way. David's a friend of mine, so it's weird to see him as Aaron because it's like a stark difference. David is very measured and calm and knowledgeable and really cool, and I have spent some time with him talking about numerous different things, and he is just the consummate professional. Having him on set is always great, but Aaron is something that is slightly unhinged and troubled and violent because of that. So our scene was manic, but I knew I was safe because I knew the person behind that character is brilliant. I don't know why the men have the noise and the women don't, but I feel like it's a real, maybe like a subtle comment on actual reality. The idea that I don't think women really need noise, because I feel like we wear our hearts on our sleeves more so you can see what's going on.
I became aware that he was a big singer and a musician, but it kind of like passed over my head. Maybe it's a generation thing, and my kids were screaming at me when I told them, it's like, Dad, don't you know him? But so he's always been an actor for me, and a brilliant one as they come. I mean, he's very energetic, he's very on the target. Sometimes you can be very ambitious as an actor on your own behalf, which is an obvious thing you should be, but more importantly should be on the behalf of the character and on the film. And I think that he's right on the ball. He is doing everything, and he will definitely try out a lot of different things, but always having in mind what the character is and what the film is. He's lovely to work with, and he's lovely to watch. Tom is just a brilliant young actor. He's done this for many years, and not only on films, he's also done stage work, right? And there's always something that comes from stage work in the sense that you have a robustness, you never become fatigued. You can go on and on and on, and he can adapt to new ideas, which you do a lot on theater. And then he has, obviously, like any movie star should have, he has the ability to go in and cling, he's there, and the camera sees it, so he's wonderful to work with. Yeah, I mean, the same goes with Daisy as it goes with Tom, and Daisy, she has now proven quite a few times that she's a very, very talented young actress, and having that ability that not only to be able to act, but that the camera loves you, and that's what makes the big stars, you know. And when the camera is in love with you, as it is with Daisy, it will pick up all the little things she does, and for that reason, she will be a great storyteller. I mean, the noise plays a vital part, obviously. But to the men, they've been around it for 20-odd years. So it's part of their day. They take it for granted. There are a few times, obviously, where we take in and use the noise as a dramatic effect, where we are forcing somebody to reveal their noise. And then it was a technical thing, whether like it manifests itself on the side, above, around the character. It's just little technical things what we're looking at, but in general, people trying to keep the noise out, meaning that we're not reacting to noise constantly. That would be complete madness, but it's constantly there. So you can imagine a radio that plays non-stop with a lot of annoying music, and that's the kind of world they live in. But they don't take it in; they have to keep it out.
Well, actually, I fell in love with the project when I read the book. And I thought it was a beautiful, poetic way to talk about who we are, and actually who we would be even in another planet, or even in different circumstances than the ones we live right now on this planet. I thought it was a beautiful analogy, a very poetic analogy of many different things that we live now. They have established themselves in this little town, you know, and then they realize that there's this thing called the noise, that is some kind of a virus, that it was there before we arrived. And what happens with that is that suddenly everyone began listening to everybody's thoughts. And that is something that sometimes we wish we could, you know, do, to be able to hear what everyone is thinking, because then no one will be able to lie. But then that becomes a problem. That thing that at first, you know, is something like a little bit cool maybe, then it becomes a problem.
you're aware of it when you're in a scene with somebody, because more often than not, you're reacting to something they're emitting, whether it's a visual image or actual words. So you're often playing off of things that aren't there, which, I guess is no different really than, working with in a CG heavy project in terms of reacting to things that aren't there. My sense of Todd is a kid who is this, somewhere in between that, boy and man, and I think Tom has that great quality of being like a fully emotionally formed human being, which he is. He's a really smart guy and really astute and can captivate a room, and yet he still has that sort of unjaded, somewhat innocence and vulnerability that Hollywood hasn't turned to poison yet. So he's got those two qualities, and I think those are kind of perfect for Todd. Look, I think the thing that will, in my mind, as far as what I can tell, is that the themes of this movie, seem to be fairly relevant in terms of gender and what defines a relationship and coming of age, and individuality over the masses. I think those themes are really prevalent in this, and I think even though there's action and CGI and and a lot of the accoutrement of a big blockbuster movie, I think underneath it there are characters that deal with those issues within the context of this world and this story that I don't know if necessarily if other films are hitting those points quite as hard.
FuturePreviews.com. Whoa! Go behind the scenes of movies. Subscribe to Future Flicks YouTube channel.